Hello. Sorry, took me a second there. I said, I'm just going to go sit down for a second while I wait for it to be time. And then I looked and I was like, oh, it's time. So, a couple minutes late. Um, well, I guess I'm not really late. Excellent. I'm sorry that it's always so late for you guys in my international friends. Um, I hate to be that difficult person, but there's a very specific window of time when I can paint because once it goes past a certain time, I shut off. I can no longer paint past that time. Uh, so, yeah, sorry. Um, or if it's before that time. But anyway, so I wanted to show you where I am with the other painting. I have been working on it. Hello, Eileen. I've been working on the other painting, and I'm getting close to being done with it. I have welcome, Debbie. When I get to a point where I'm doing details, it's really, really hard for me to talk and paint at the same time, to give all of my attention to the painting. It's super hard. And I felt like I was at the point where it was time to kind of shift gears and get to those detail parts. So that's why I moved on without you. Sorry. Hello, Donna. So here is where it sits right now. It's getting there. I would say a little more than halfway done. I might be creeping up on 2/3 of the way done, but so far I'm really happy with it. And I did end up putting some foliage in this tree, and I really like the technique that I used there. That was kind of a spur of the moment, off the cuff thing. Don't like that this house has like a halo. You see that? Like this perfect halo that follows the shape of the house. So I need to get rid of that and some other things, but that's where she sits. I'm hoping to have it done by Sunday because I have another market on Sunday, and so I think I'm on track. I think I'm on track to finish it. But we're going to start a new one. Thank you. Yeah, same theme, very similar painting. But yeah, because that's how I roll. And I got some mini palettes, like I said, I wanted to get. So finally, I don't have to worry about my paint drying out every time I start and stop a painting. So I just barely prepped this palette, so I gotta throw my paint in there. One of the ways, or one tip I've got for you right now is if you know that you're going to be mixing certain colors together, plan that when you're laying out your palette. I find it's easier to put the colors that I'm going to mix together close to each other rather than like a big rainbow line, of colors in order. So I'll show you what I mean in just a second here. Okay, so I like to mix the PR101 and the QBO with my turquoise. So I put them on my palette like that. That's a little bright. There we go. It's hard to tell here, but that's my PR101, my turquoise, and my QBO. I don't mix these two together often because they're both brown, and I don't need a browner brown. But I do mix them both with the turquoise, so the turquoise goes in the middle of the two. Anyway, let's see. Let me look at my image and see what kind of other colors I want to use. So this is my image. I think I'm pretty good with most of the colors I'm going to use. I might actually need a little bit of yellow. What yellow? Ooh, I know. Nickel Azo. I love this color. So we'll just throw a little bit of that out. This one's got a little bit more of a glow to it than the other paintings, so that Nickel Azo is going to come in handy. And I feel like I think I might just use Titan Green. A lot of times when I can't decide what white I want to use, I default to Titan Green. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway. Yeah, I do that too, Annie. My opaques go on the other side. Yep. I'll show ya. Yep, so opaque over here, transparent over there. And then lots of room at the bottom for medium. So, what has everybody else been working on? Anything? Any gold paintings? Or anything else? Seriously, guys, I'm finding little flakes of gold leaf just all over my studio. That stuff's as bad as glitter. Okay, so I gotta get my picture out. And yeah, so I'm gonna make my chromatic black. Again, I'm gonna focus strongly on my values. This is gonna be my value painting. I am not going to like get lazy and skip parts. I'm going all in right off the bat, but still nice and transparent. You're struggling with the gold painting? What are you struggling with, Annie? Oh, unsalvageable. That's too bad. Okay, so just a sketch at first. Start in my darkest area, probably right about here. And I am simplifying a few things on here. This image has a lot going on in it. Like there's, I don't know. I'll just block in the things and I can get rid of them later if I need to. This road has a lot going on in it. There's like a gutter that runs here and then the dirt tracks and everything. So I'm probably going to simplify it. You can see like the gutter with some water in it right there. This is not purple. It looks bright purple on the camera, but it's not purple. Hello, Tammy. Welcome. All right. Nice and dark all through here. So I was noticing something today when I started digging into like the small details on the other painting, is that when I'm kind of doing this part, I mean, this is very kind of meditative for me. I love painting in the values. This is probably one of my favorite parts of painting. But then once I'm like glazing and layering and, doing all of that to try and like nudge things toward the finish line, things get a little stressful. I start to be unsure of myself, if I can accomplish the painting, if I've screwed it up, did I go too wild, all of that kind of stuff. And then when I decide, okay, it is now time to do some details, those details, like digging into that, it's the most satisfying thing on the planet. It's so satisfying. And I think that's probably my actual favorite part of a painting. I think it's helpful to identify what you love and what you don't love in your process. Not to change anything. I'm not going to change the way I paint just because one part of it gives me some anxiety. I'm just going to learn not to judge a painting while it's in that phase. Not to scrap a painting in that phase, if I don't like what's happening. To just kind of write it out and see where it goes. Oh, I understand that, Annie, and we can go over that when we finish our gold paintings. Yeah, I do that too, Tammy. Being good at starting paintings and bad at finishing them. And I know that for myself, it's anxiety that stops me. It's not about deciding, oh, I want to paint this other thing instead. Or even though it may sound like, wow, I really screwed that painting up, it's not that I do actually screw paintings up to the point where they can't be fixed. It's that my anxiety says, man, you really toasted the muffin on that one. I don't know what that means. It's just the first word that came out of my mouth. Anyway, you really screwed up on that one. Maybe you should just start something else. So I'm trying not to let myself get to that. My drawing is a little off here. Yeah, okay, good. As long as it's not just me. I think my road is too far in. So let's make a pact with each other that we make sure to give a painting like a fair shot before we give up on it, before we say, I really messed this one up, and throw it aside. Because a lot happens in the detail phase. There's part of me where I'm going through my painting and I'm like, this looks so amateurish, this part right here. And then I think to myself, yes, it does look amateurish, but I haven't done the details yet. And I know that when I get to the details, things are going to change. But sometimes it's really hard to argue that point that something is messed up or why it isn't. These are going to be like some trees. I'm just reminding myself pretty much where they are. This one I might simplify because otherwise it's cutting in front of the house. Maybe I like it cutting in front of the house. I never do that. Maybe I'll leave it. We'll see how it goes. And a little bit in our sky, our values. And I chose cadmium orange today because, well, first I didn't feel like roasting my eyeballs out of my head again with another fluorescent underpainting. And there's so much blue in the sky that it could easily feel very cold. But the ground, the light shining on the house and the ground, and then obviously the lights inside the windows felt very warm. And so I wanted to support that while at the same time keeping the sky from feeling so cold. So that's why I chose cadmium orange. Otherwise, I used this one on the last painting. I was going to use this one. But I saved my retinas. Yeah, the procrastination, Tammy, that thing is real, man. If I am like heavily procrastinating a painting, I'm not gonna finish it. I need to just start learning. That means you're not gonna finish it. For me, anyway. And that makes me sad because I've got my lady still sitting over there with no eyes. I want to finish her, but at this point, it's been going on for so long. You know what I thought about doing? Tell me what you guys think of this. This is probably, sometimes I get these really out of control ideas, and then when it comes to actually doing the out of control idea, I chicken out or tell myself why it's a dumb idea. So I need you guys to tell me if it's a dumb idea, okay? Let's see. It looks gold. Yeah, no, it's just Liquitex Cad Orange. Okay, so the lady. Here she is. You guys remember the lady with no eyes. So one thing I was considering was maybe putting like a streak of medium over her face, you know, that kind of extends outward like that. And then putting gold leaf on it so that she's like her eyes are blotted out by gold leaf. I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid idea. Tell me what you guys think. I understood. I speak autocorrect fluently. Okay. Still blocking in our underpainting. Don't want to do it on the windows though, over here anyway, because they're going to have some light. At least one of them is going to have some light. The door won't. But I also don't want to lose the door because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'll probably just make it look like worn wood. That's what I tend to do. It could be cool, but what if it isn't? I mean, I guess the other alternative is she's not going to get finished at all. So, might as well, right? Maybe I will. Just off like a Band-Aid. Put a gold leaf swipe across her eyes and call her done. I'm going to paint this one in dark. I want that doorway to be a little darker. Pretty sure I had a window up here. That'll be good. It could lead to something incredible. It could lead to something terrifying. That's why you don't have tattoos. You know what I've found about tattoos, Tammy, is that, you know, people are always like, well, what if I don't like this after a few years? Yeah, you might not. But it becomes part of you, and it's like having a mole or a birthmark that you don't particularly love, but it's just part of who you are. And you can always get them covered up with another one. I currently have one that I want to cover up because okay, let's dig those values in darker. Besides, if you change your mind, you can just get another one. You know, you do a tattoo and you're like, oh, but I should have gotten a tattoo of this instead. Just go get them. That's how you end up with so many. That's how I ended up with so many. And I can feel the urge for another one coming back. All right. Still just values. I like that my sketch got a little wobbly and my roof line got a little crooked. So I'm actually going to amp that up. Sorry, I'm reading chat as well. You have a small one, Donna, and only one. Your self-control is admirable. I didn't get any more for years after my first one. My first one was around my ankle, and yeah, I didn't know that was like one of the worst places to get a tattoo. So my first one was pretty aggressive, and I thought, I don't want to go through that again, man. That was awful. Tattoos suck. And the bug, it shows up, and pretty soon you're like, yeah, but it didn't last forever. So, yeah. Pretty much using full paint right now. Not really picking up any medium. I think that line is too high. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Oh, on your ankle? It was awful, wasn't it? Terrible, terrible, terrible. terrible place for a tattoo. I don't think I would ever do it again. That's the one, out of all the ones I have, that's the one that pain-wise, I would never do again. Go to a bigger brush. I really don't think that the pain is all that bad for a tattoo, but just that one. What makes me want more? It really is kind of addicting. Yeah. I don't know. It's a good point. Is it a desire to, spend a couple $100 as quickly as you can? Maybe. I think that there is research that shows that, when you go through that kind of pain, that your body does release dopamine and things like that. And being ADHD, I do not get enough dopamine, and so it might just be my body's way of like dopamine grabbing. That makes sense to me. I don't know. It's all still pretty new to me, just kind of learning about all of this stuff now. Yeah, they can be expensive. I think that's the only reason I don't have more. So they can be expensive. What do I want to do here? Squinting at my image. So I'll put the little grassy rut in the middle at least a bit. I might grow it up a little bit, make it really look like there's not been anyone in this house for a while. So why are the lights on? Who knows? When I'm watching I think you guys know that I like to watch like urban exploration videos on YouTube. I watch a lot of that. And you would not believe how often an abandoned house has power. Like, there was one I saw the other day. It had been abandoned since like the early 90s at the most recent, and it still had power. So it happens. I'm going to bring this up a little higher. I'm hoping my power doesn't go out. The power's been going out a lot here lately. It's probably gone out like 3 times in the last week, which just makes me never want to set a clock ever again. I'm so tired of resetting all my clocks. Good job, Tammy. We did things like that, or that we had things like that happen when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid, some of you might remember things like this. If you wanted, like, to order HBO, like, let's say you wanted to add HBO to your cable, you didn't just turn on the TV and, oh, there's HBO. The cable guy had to come out, climb up the pole in our backyard, and, like, I don't know, do something so that HBO would come to our house. And one time, we did not request HBO, but we turned on the TV and there was HBO. So I don't know if somebody else in our neighborhood had ordered it and we got it too. I don't know, but we had HBO for years after that. Don't come at me for being dishonest, anybody. I was a little kid. That's what happened. All right, let's make sure this window is good and blocked in. Remember, since it's turned, the house isn't facing us, it's turned, we're not going to see shadows on the window all the way around. We can see the underside of the top, we can see this side, but we can't see, like, if there's a shadow here or here. So that's all we're going to do. You forgot about the way they used to have to come out and do that? Yeah, man. Dark Ages were something else, weren't they? Got a little bit of a highlight along the right side of the door. No hard lines still. I think I'm just going to have these windows and that door kind of boarded up. That's what I did on the other one, where it was white in my reference image, and I was like, nope. So I just made them look like they were, some of them were boarded up and some of them had like broken windows. So I just really simplified that. We are weird looking over here. Let's go like this. I don't actually want that edge to be so dark, but I have to give myself a reminder that that's where the edge of the house is. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Making your younger siblings go over and adjust the rabbit ears. And then you tell them, that's perfect, stay right there. So they're just standing there at the TV going like this, trying to see. Yeah. It's a good thing my brother still likes me, because I was a bit mean to him. Ooh. Someone, I think Mr. Moon, was helping me paint. Edge of the roof line, kind of the shadow that shows underneath it. Again, my chimney is weird. I'm not worried about it right now. My chimney and my other one was super weird, but I think I pulled it off pretty good. I think it looks all right now. I know, Tammy. Sometimes I try and think, what would my 15-year-old self think of all of the things we have today? Yeah. Yep. Uh, we have lately been watching YouTube a lot. That's primarily what we're watching in a day right now. So it's kind of interesting. We pay for all of those streaming services too. And what do we watch? We watch YouTube. They don't have my urban exploration shows on Netflix, so I have to watch them on YouTube. I'll just give these a few dark edges so I don't lose the window. Not worried about, I know that these are like detail features, and if it's wonky, it's gonna throw off the whole look, but I'm really not stressing about them right now. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't lose them and just generally make reminders about the way they'll be shaped or something. I don't know, this one's a little wide. Bring it in over here. Okay. Don't wash your brush off. Where else do I have some kind of delicate shadow areas? Kind of like the grassy area right there where it separates the road. Just being able to see that helps me out quite a bit. Yep. And YouTube has so much good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of crap too, but that's everywhere. But yeah, man, I can keep myself entertained completely just on YouTube. All right, I don't think my sky could be darker, but I think it's okay for now because it'll get darker when I start glazing. Oh no, Tammy lost her Wi-Fi. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna block in my light colors. If this were a larger painting, a little bit more full scale, I might dig into some of the shadow details a little bit more. But because it's smaller, I'm not gonna, because one brush stroke could do away with it. So I'm not gonna worry about it right now. But I am gonna start putting in some of my highlight colors, or my opaque colors for my lightest bits. I think I'm just gonna use, I don't know. I think I'll just mix a few colors into the white. It really doesn't matter if the color is correct, but I want it to at least be a placeholder to say, oh yeah, this is gonna be warm, this is not. Just throw a little bit of everything in there. You binge watched The Handmaid's Tale. Did you finish it, Annie? That's a good start. It's just kind of a muddy, color for the house here. We just signed up for Peacock again. We go through these phases where we like sign up for this streaming service or that streaming service, and then we watch it for a while until we feel like there's nothing else interesting on it, or there's something else more interesting somewhere else, and then we cancel it and move to something else. So we just signed up for Peacock again, and I've learned that they also have a huge selection of one of my TV viewing guilty pleasures, and that is true crime documentaries. Yes, I'm one of those crazy true crime people. Yeah, I was a little disappointed at the end too. I did kind of feel like, I mean, I get it. I understand why they ended it the way they did, but it was a little unsatisfying. Felt like someone dropped the ball. Okay, I'm gonna keep that same color. I might just change it a little bit. Yeah. Yep. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad that you guys are wacky like me. Maybe that's why we all like each other, because we're all wacky. Kind of get the idea that there's a like a street light or something over here that's not in frame, or a car. Maybe it's a car. It kind of feels more like a car, doesn't it? Kind of shooting headlights this way. So really the brightest bit is going to stay pretty low. Let's get a little bit of brightness in the windows on the side, just to remember it's there. This is not the right color, but it'll be all right. put a highlight here. It's under the light there. I might get rid of that later, but it's a fun experiment. Which one are you starting season 2 of, Donna? Oh, the show Wednesday. I thought you were saying that it starts on Wednesday. Yeah, I didn't make it through that one. I don't know why. I love, oh, God, I just lost her name. Anyway, I love the whole cast, actually. It's got a really good cast. But something about it, God, now I do want that little gutter thing here. I don't know. I might have been in the wrong mood for it when I started watching it before, so maybe I'll give it another shot. Okay. I'm going to start blocking in the sky, and we have about 13 minutes until we've been going for an hour, so that should be pretty good. Where did my angle brush go? Hiding with the big brushes. Oh, and I have something in my shoe. All right. Nice and moody and midnighty. Doesn't need to be real crisp or clear right now. I think I still have some old yucky color from my other painting in my brush. I might bring some cobalt actually into the sky. Cobalt is a really great color to use for like nighttime scenes. If you want the sky to have like that dark, you know how sometimes the night sky can look super dark? It's obviously nighttime, but it's just this dark, deep color of blue. Not quite like this. I mean, it might look like that to you. It's a little more dusky looking here, but I love that. Obviously the middle of the night, but still vivid blue color. And cobalt is perfect for that. All right, I think that's pretty good to start with, although I do want to just do one glaze over the whole thing. So let's do that real quick, and then I'll probably let you guys go. Let me mute you so I don't blow your eardrums out. I don't know that I'm in love with the shape of the house, but I can tighten it up as we go. Just going to start in the sky with my nice dark blue. See, this is right about the time when I start going, oh man, maybe I should be using different colors. Maybe I should have used a different underpainting, even though cadmium orange is like one of my favorite underpaintings to use. It's still scaring me. It's still kind of making me second guess myself. But it will be good. When I get to my detail part, it will be great. All right, let's go just a little bit more neutral for the house. Not worried about the windows, clearly. Not worried about overlapping the sky. Much better. Heck yeah. I think this one's gonna turn out pretty good. But that's about all I can do on it today because that is thick and it's gonna start pulling up. So I'm not even gonna touch this one until tomorrow. Tomorrow maybe I'll work on it. So I might do another one of these tomorrow since I'll start working on this. But when I get to the detail phase, I might not, simply because of the amount of like mental power that it takes to do that. So I hope that's okay with you guys. Because the thing is I haven't painted like that with that level of detail in a couple of years, ever since I did my rag dolls, and that was in 2023. So maybe after I've gotten back into it and I do it a little bit more regularly and my comfort is, starting to come back a little bit with that, maybe I can do one live and show you those things. But right now it's like it takes everything in my head to stay on track and dig into that. So not right now, but yeah, so unless you guys have any other questions, I'm gonna let you go. We'll probably get back together tomorrow if you can make it. And yeah, and then we have class Friday because I have a schedule now. I don't know if you guys noticed. So that'll be fun. We'll answer your questions for the gold leaf then. I do have a painting that I think most of you saw it the other day on Sunday where I added some extra gold leaf and now I have super hard edges. So Annie, I can address that immediately for you in our lesson on Friday. So, all right, everybody. Well, I'm going to let you go and I will see you again very soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.